Hey, welcome back, everybody, to video training 8 in the Focused Achievers group. Again, super excited to have each and every one of you with us. Yesterday, we talked about being over-informed versus under-inspired, and what would it take for you to not just go out and get inspiration, but to give inspiration to the people around you, to your friends, to your family, to your loved ones, to your community, and to inspire the people around you because of who you've become as a man and as a woman. People know that, if they become this person, they go, oh, that wasn't easy. When people see somebody and they look fit, they go, ooh, that wasn't easy. They know the hard work. They know that, the kind of diet that one must possess. They know what, kind of hours that one must put into, to having that level of body. So it inspires people. It says, oh my gosh, like I've read about these people before, but I haven't seen one, up close. So it's about, who can I inspire? Today, we're going to talk about the power of beliefs. The power of beliefs. We're always hearing about things, you just got to believe, and you got to have that sense of belief, and that we are our beliefs. And, where did we pick these beliefs up from? And for the most part, you and I did not design our belief systems. We didn't sit around one day and think, well, I'm going to believe this about money, and I'm going to believe this about health, and I'm going to believe this about relationships, and I'm going to believe this about et cetera, et cetera. We just are a living byproduct of those beliefs. We are simply doing nothing more than fulfilling the beliefs that we adopted back at a very, very young age. And it's like we're given these beliefs about, how money works and how life works. And many psychologists will say that our belief systems about life are formed by about age 4 or 5. Right in that ballpark of 4 or 5, we've pretty much picked up, like, at an unconscious level, this level of beliefs about money, people, um, relationships, like all these things is pretty much packaged up and hand delivered to us. It says, this is how life works. Now, like, here's your blueprint. This is how life works. Now go out and do everything you possibly can to support those beliefs that I, as your parent, your mom, your dad, that I'm giving and handing over to you. Those have come from generation of generations and generations. And aren't I such a great mom? Aren't I such a great dad? I'm literally just going to hand deliver you beliefs about money. I'm going to hand deliver you beliefs about relationships. I'm going to hand deliver you beliefs about opportunity in life. I'm going to hand deliver you, how to look at people, white people, tall people, short people. Like, I'm so awesome. I'm just going to hand deliver those beliefs to you. And so then we'll do everything that we possibly can, even though we say consciously, oh, I want to go get rich. Yeah, but unconsciously, we were hand delivered, these blueprints in these belief systems. It says, no, 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 no. That's for them. That's for a different group of people. That's for, that's for those people, all that stuff. And so even though we say, yes, I want to go out and get rich, and I want to go out and make it happen, and I want to go out and achieve greatness, the undercurrent that was hand delivered to us by the time we were age 4 or 5 says something totally and completely different. And that's why we keep going back to sabotage, as we talked about here just a couple videos ago. It's like we go back into sabotage. It's like that. Those are the blueprints, bro. Like, you want me to go against those blueprints about how I see people, how I see life, how I see community, how I see money, how I see relationships, how I see all that. You want me to actually go against the grain of that? I'm not doing it. No way. And, so that's really tough, because for most people, we spend our life, and I spent it in that space for years and years and years, where it's like, you just keep falling back. You keep going back to the same, to the same money pattern, to the same relationship pattern, to the same health pattern. And those are simply going back to what we really truly believe that we deserve in life, in these particular areas of life. And, did somebody call us worthy? That we're just not worthy, or we're this, or we're that. And that, as soon as we get anything of greatness, we immediately sabotage it, because at the undercurrent of our beliefs, we don't believe that that's, that that's really who it is that we are, and who it is that we are in our health or our finances, and so we go in and just screw it all up. And our beliefs are so important, and they're hand delivered. And so the key to that is, it's like we must get to a point where we break the pattern of the old belief. We must break the pattern of that old belief. Like, it's like we redefine a new possibility. And so I ask people when I do my seminars across the country, I say, let's talk about beliefs. And, I said, who broke the first 4 minute mile? And invariably somebody will answer in the audience and they'll say, Roger Bannister. Roger Bannister? Yeah, Roger Bannister. I was going to say Richard Bandler, NLP founder. But Roger Bannister. And I say to Bob, Bob, what was the belief of, breaking a 4 minute mile? And so all the way back to the time of the Romans, to the time of 1954, the 4 minute mile had never been broken. And so the belief was that the human heart would literally explode into the chest cavity. And so, didn't inspire people to like wake up and go, yeah, I'm going to go break the 4 minute mile, thinking that, hey, I might die today. But Roger Bannister was different. He woke up and he said, today's the day. So I'm going to break the 4 minute mile. And he did. He did it that day in 3 minutes and 59 seconds. And then 1 month later, like 37 other people did it. And like a year later, like 200 people did it. And it became a new norm. It became a new possibility once Roger Bannister came in there and just went bam. Once he came in there and defied and broke and created a new belief of what's possible. And so what must we do in our life is to create a new reference of possibility, by seeing things different. So Roger Bannister broke the 4 minute mile than all these other people because they said, hey, now it's possible, right? So that belief is, well, let me adopt Roger's belief because, hey, he was able to do it. And if I take that same belief that, hey, I can do it, then maybe I can do it. And then people, of course, went out and did it. And now it's just not even a big deal anymore. I mean, honestly. But it took somebody to come in and break that belief system. Like it's going to take in your family. It's going to take in your generation. So the generations ahead of you are different. And you've got to break that cycle. You've got to break that belief. For those that I shared, I talked about my story, but I didn't go to college. When I was 18, 19 years old, I moved out of my parents' house. I fell into a bucket of drugs and alcohol and just had a kick-ass time and had an incredible time, but I never went to college. And it wasn't my thing and wasn't mine, but that wasn't going to happen in the generations ahead of me. My son Garrett graduated high school with a 4.6. He got a $250,000 scholarship to go to college. He just graduated recently with his master's degree in math, and his Eagle Scout, like first chair viola, like the guy's firing on all cylinders. And I said, on my watch, in my ex-wife's watch, it was going to happen different. Like the trajectory of my kids was going to be different than it was for me. So we broke that pattern. So what must you do to break the pattern in the cycle of maybe your fitness or the cycle of your finances or the cycle of your relationships? For some, they look and go, oh my God, I'm in my third marriage. But then they look at their parents and they go, oh my God, my parents were married 3 times, and so they kind of adopted those same traits, those same characteristics, until one day somebody comes in there and says, that's it, no more, enough's enough, not on my watch. My kids are going to college. My kids are going to, have the discipline. They're going to stay out of jail. They're going to do this, all these different things. And so it's when we begin to look at things different, the way we see things and what we believe to be about things is how we interact with things. What I believe about you or whoever that might be, whatever I believe about them is going to determine how I interact with them. If I believe they're an ass, I'll probably treat them like an ass. So maybe not. But traditionally, how we see people is how we interact with people. We used to see the earth, and we as a society, we saw the earth as flat. So as we saw the earth as flat, it limited possibilities of space travel. And so then one day we looked at it differently and we said, wait a minute, hold on, back up, whoop, whoop. It's not flat, the earth is round. Now, has it always been round? Yeah, it's always been round. It's never been flat. But yet we as a culture and society saw it as flat. And so what did that do? It limited possibilities of space travel. The possibilities of space travel were blinded by how we saw the earth. The possibilities of your financial gain is blinded by how you see money and how you see your sense of worth and how you see all these different elements. It's blinding the possibilities for something super amazing to have happen. And one of the key elements here to do and to break a new pattern, to interrupt the pattern, to be able to step into the old, broken down, antiquated beliefs that don't support you in what you say you're truly up to. Because unless you break the belief, unless you create a new reference point, it's really hard. It's an uphill battle unless we go in and we start snapping things in half. When I took my income at Robbins, when I took it from making $10,000 on one check, I created what we call a new reference to what was possible, and that was going from 10 to 100,000. That reference wasn't an available option until I came in and broke that as an option. People might have gone from 10 to 20, they might have even gone from 10 to 30, but nobody had gone from 10 to 100. So we created a new reference point. If you remember, I mentioned in one of our training videos, Philip Mahone, and Philip Mahone wrote the foreword to my High Octane Loan Originator book that Tony Robbins endorses. And Philip, when I took Philip on, just a good old Charlottesville, Virginia guy. He's in the mortgage business doing 8 to 10 deals a month. And I invited Philip. I said, well, let's just go do 30. Let's just get after it. Let's go do 30 deals. Boom. And just like Sean Carlson, Minnesota, his whole thing was like, how do I do that? It's like, dude, let's just go, and we went for the ride. Well, long story short, over the next 30, out of the next 7 out of 11 months, like starting right month 1, Philip did 30 deals. And then he did 30 deals for the next 7 out of 11 months. And the reason why Philip did that is because what he was able to do is create a new reference point. So what I mean by a reference point is if we look at a belief, so let's say the tabletop itself is the belief. Well, we have these legs that support the tabletop. Those are called references. So many times if people have no money, they can use this reference. Well, I don't come from money. This reference, the economy's tough. This reference over here, this or that, taxes are too high. Like whatever it is, you have references that support a belief that says money is rough, or this is all you can earn. And when somebody comes in and breaks down and creates a new reference point for themselves, then all of a sudden they start to question, like, whoa, wait a minute. Like when I would put a $100,000 new reference under the belief of 10,000, it's like, whoa, wait a minute. No, it's like we have a belief of only 10,000 was max. All of a sudden that's no longer stable. No longer is that a solid fixed. We have a new reference, and it's a pretty big, bold reference. And so how do we create a new trajectory for our financial life or our relationship life or our emotional life is to create reference points that allow for us to begin to re-examine what is truly possible. And so that's why it's really important for people to go, hey, normally I go 3 or 4 days in and I might sabotage, and find myself going back. Let's see if I can create a new reference point of 30 days. Like, let's see if I can really go, 30 days with a new reference point, and where you go, okay, now that was hard because I could normally only go 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 days. But my gosh, I went every single day, 30 days. I have a friend of mine at the gym, and he was talking about how he's doing, and for some, they know the 75 hard. And you go every day, and it's 75 days, and my guy's military, and so everything is like wah, wah, wah. Like it's super important to make sure he does that from just like that's who he is. And but he's created a new reference point for himself that says, man, oh man, like look what I was able to do for myself and my body and all of this in 75 days. Like now it allows for him to show up so much more powerfully. So what I would invite you to do is begin to, whatever that is, whether if you have a financial goal in this platform, or if you have a physical goal in this platform, or a relationship outcome, like whatever your outcome is, my invitation is go meet it. Like go meet that outcome. Go give yourself a new reference point that says, yeah, now this is possible. I mean, once Philip was able to go for 7 out of 11 months doing 30 deals, like he created, boom, first month out, 30 deals. And then for the next 7 out of 11 months, 30 deals. Like that was insane. And then he joined a franchise that had 720 offices. And in 4 months, we cracked the top 10 offices. That's insane. The owner of the company picked up the phone, called me, and he's like, "Dude, how did you get him to so high so fast?" And I was, facetiously said, "Oh, I'm really good." But the fact is that what Philip did is he created a new reference point and then duplicated that reference point time and time and time and time again. And so that's what we encourage you to do. So again, this isn't about information. This is about breaking belief systems. This is about creating new reference points for yourself. It's creating like what I got to do with my children in their education, and to really get ourselves to really think in a bigger sense. I'll leave you on this, but my son and I, Grant, my son's a big 6'10" golfer. He's my awesome middle son, 23 years old, and just an awesome dude. And he came up to me one day, and we were at the driving range, and he goes, "Dad," he goes, I got one of your genes." And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" And he goes, "Well, I got the gene of dreaming big." He said, "My goal is to be on the PGA Tour by the time I'm 25." And I'm like, "Oh my God." I said, "Dude, what's up?" Like, but he's having so many, like, I'm going to think big. I came from a family that didn't think that big. They talked big, but they didn't think that big. And there's a difference. And, there's a difference when we, can snap old broken down conversations. And that was one of the biggest things for me with my children is I'm not going to tell you I'm going to go do it and not do it. And so it might take longer than what I had anticipated, but it's going to get done. And I'm going to create a new reference points of possibilities, not by talking about, but by actually following through and experiencing that. So this is an opportunity for you right now as you really look and examine, and as we're just close to being 2.5 hours or 2 hours in to really a conversation about what's possible, is to look and go, what old belief systems must I break down? What belief systems must I push through? What belief systems must I create now a new reference that says, no, that belief is broken down, that belief is old, that belief is antiquated. What belief must I build as a new reference point going forward? So we're going to see you back tomorrow on video training 9 as the Focused Achievers. Again, opportunity, go into the community, declare, commit, but most importantly, be an inspiration. And how are you going to be the inspiration? Go out there and get shit done. Go out there and make shit happen. Go out there and do what the others are unwilling to do. Remember, it's not that they can't do, they just won't do. So don't be the one that can go out there and actually do it, but don't do it, right? That's not leading by example. That's not being, too inspirational. Hey, you guys have yourself a great morning, noon, after night, whatever it is. We'll see you back on training video tomorrow, number 9.